I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Lite is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey, dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex FIA gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. Tonight, it will be the Stars and Cars of the Sim Racers Club Premier Series taking on Rockingham Speedway. Head into the Rock. This one's going to be fun. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth tonight by a pair of color commentators. Patrick Byrne joining me as always. James Watson going to be joining me in the booth here as well tonight. James, a regular here. You people are used to hearing him. I'll tell you what, boys, just getting the message from Race Control, 80 laps will be the distance tonight. No pit stops will be required at this point. They have decided to shorten the race because it's a little bit short of a field here. So we're going to get 80 laps of absolutely guns out blazing action here at Rockingham.
I can't wait. Rockingham is one of the best tracks on the circuit. I absolutely love driving this place. It's so hard. It's so unique. It really separates the men from the boys on how you can get around this track and if you can figure out the right line. I'm also curious to see how they're going to go balls out because Rockingham isn't the track you want to go balls out at. It just eats your tires.
That's one of the things I noticed for a very rare chance here. I had a shot to drive the next-gen car here in similar conditions to this just before we were coming on the air. This place is tough. I mean, you're talking 14, 15 laps, and the tires are absolutely going away.
Yeah, this track, it's very abrasive. It's I don't want to say a very old surface, but it hasn't been maintained like a bunch of the other Cup tracks have, especially at the time of this scan. So it's going to be a very, very difficult track. It's rough, it's bumpy, and it's really going to be a race of who knows how to drive the car best tonight.
It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Already 5 of the 8 cars entered tonight have taken time. And looks like right now it's going to be Johnny Avila at the top of the speed charts, 23.991 seconds. As we'll pick up the number 17 of Kevin Stone, making his way down the front stretch and towards turn number 1. Stone going to jump up to 5th quick, 24.432. It really changes the thought process here, Patrick, when we're talking about how you're going to approach the race. When you have this short of a field, points matter all that much more because there's nowhere to go. The worst you're going to get tonight is 8th place points. Now we're into drop weeks for the league. Championship contenders may be starting to feel a little bit safe, but at this point it's really kind of who knows.
Yeah, especially with drop weeks coming in. Even if you finish last tonight, that might not be your worst finish of the season. So one of your other weeks is going to get dropped. So this could be a really good week for you, even if you're not doing so great in the race tonight.
Yeah, I think you're going to see things maybe tighten up a little bit, except for at the top. Because at this point, I mean, I'm trying to think back over the course of the season here as we pick up Tim Knott in the number 41. Johnny Avila sitting at the top of the board on 337 points. Tyler Seville, second in points. He's 30 back. It's another 15 back to Kevin Stone in third. The guys who could potentially stand to benefit are those that are towards the back of the pack. Tony Patton is a perfect example of this. He's guaranteed a top 8 finish, and he's currently sitting 12th in points.
Yeah, sometimes availability is the best skill set. Just going up and collecting points, it's going to be a huge point haul for him, and he's just here. So if you just show up and log laps, you can usually end up with something pretty good.
Lap number 2 is on the board for Tim Knott, and he will be the last driver to complete qualifications here tonight. But it will not be enough to unseat Johnny Avila from the top of the board. Let's bring him up here and talk to our pole sitter here this evening. And I'll tell you what, Johnny, thank you much for stopping in to check in with us here in the booth. And car must be pretty good. Looks like the car was quick there in qualifications. What are you thinking as we head into now a shorter race that really pit stops may not matter?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the biggest part will be tires, but this is my favorite track to race on, so I'm just looking to have a blast out here tonight.
You are not the first guy in this booth that has said that. James Watson talking about this being one of his favorites. What is it about Rockingham? Is it abrasiveness? Is it just the layout is different? What is it that makes the place so special?
I think it's unique. The way you got to enter the corner and just sort of the way you carry your speed around it. It's like a different challenge than I'm used to, and it's just fun because also over the bumps and everything, the car's a little bit out of control, so you're just trying to find that edge and just hang it right there.
Well, congratulations on picking up another Sim Racers Club Premier Series Pole Award. Make sure you get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Well, I got to thank Bulldog Roofworks for sponsoring my entire season. Got to thank the team. You know, everybody puts in a lot of work, gives me information that helps out. So hopefully this race goes well and I can hear from you guys at the end of it.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. Johnny Avila, your Sim Racers Club Pole Award winner tonight. Before we get the cars off to the grid, let's take a look here at the weather conditions presented by our friends at the Weather Center. 78-degree ambient temperature, winds going to be out of the southwest at 11 miles an hour. They're calling it cloudy skies. I'm going to say partly cloudy. There are a lot of breaks of blue up there. And a 109-degree track temperature. James, you were talking about tires not being real friendly here. That cannot help matters one bit.
No, That's like taking a piece of tissue paper and then putting it over a lighter with kerosene. Gonna be just terrible, just awful for the drivers. You're only gonna get like 2 laps before you're down to 50% on the right front.
That does not sound like fun whatsoever. And honestly, could this be a situation that we maybe see the meatball flag come out for some of these guys because they've worn the tires all the way down?
It's definitely a possibility. If you're just completely overdriving the corner and not giving a shit, you will get down to 0% pretty easily around here.
So just waiting for qualifications to wrap up here at Rockingham Speedway. Everyone has taken their time, so I'm not entirely sure why iRacing has well, I guess the clock's going to continue to run because you can theoretically join the session at this point, but looks like it will be Johnny Avila in the number 63 out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, putting the Synergy Esports Ford Mustang on the pole for tonight's race. Lining up beside him, Mike McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey. I am still very much intrigued here on what this 80-lap distance means. And basically what I would assume is going to happen, they'll throw the yellow at lap 80. It's not like you can advance the session to a checkered flag,
No.
can you?
We would probably do the same thing here that we did when we ran the Little 500, is just throw the yellow and that comes out, somebody takes a picture of the running order, and that will be how the points are determined.
Yeah, that's going to be the one that really kind of sticks out to me is how you play this from a mental perspective. If you're AJ Digby, Kevin Stone starting at the back half of this field, you're only starting 8th. They're going to be on the 4th row, 3rd row. But yeah, there has to be a little bit of something that's going on where you say, hey, how do I want to approach this? Could you see a big tire conservation run where somebody almost goes down a lap? Because if you have to make a green flag pit stop, that's not a real pleasant spot to be in either.
I definitely think we will. Like, the guys towards the back of the pack, there's really nothing preventing them from giving that a try. If you go slow enough, you can stretch it out enough to where you don't necessarily have to pit. It's just fresh tires here are such a boon that even if they can go and no stop it, they might not be able to keep the guys who do stop behind them.
So they go, oh, looks at this. We are going to have one more car joining the entry list tonight, and it's going to be one of the series admins. This is going to be Jordan Barry stepping in on, well, we'll say short notice here, to put it mildly. Let's make sure I can get his information up here so at least we can talk about everybody. Well, I may not have it. All right. Well, we'll try to talk about Jordan the best we can, but field is going to take the grid, and it will be time for us to go racing here at The Rock. As we mentioned, starting on the pole out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the Bulldog Roofworks Synergy Esports number 63 Ford Mustang of Johnny Avila. Lining up to his outside out of Cape May, New Jersey, the Shattered Dream Racing Chevrolet Camaro of Mike McConville, the Mighty Ducks Star Wars oddball mishmash paint scheme. That one's going to be just absolutely awesome paint scheme you see there. Inside of row number 2 will be the number 28 of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania's Troy Haight in the Thrustmaster Chevrolet Camaro. Lining up to his outside out of Dallas, Texas, the Gunskins Penske Shock Century 21 Mike Bowman, Toyota Camry for Pixelated Sim Sports, and pilot Tim Knott. Lining up on the inside of row number 3 out of Clearwater, Florida, the Arch Telecom PNC Bank Ford Mustang out of Will Worsler Racing Stables. That is Tyler Seville. On the outside of row number 3 out of Mooresville, North Carolina, the RS Custom Paint Famucci Wear Desert Hobbies Ford Mustang. Driving for Pixelated Sim Sports, it is Kevin Stone. Inside of row number 4, starting in position number 7 from Alliance, Ohio, the Custom Paints and Diecast Rocket Ship Chevrolet Camaro. Another of the Will Worsler Racing entries, this one belonging to A.J. Digby. On the outside of the 4th row will be Thomasville, North Carolina's Richard Fletcher in the Custom Paints and Diecast Will Worsler Racing Ford Mustang. Jordan Barry not on the grid, so it looks like he will be handling admin duties here tonight. Tell you what, guys, maybe a little bit light on the field, but, I mean, Patrick, we've seen these guys all season. There are some heavy hitters in this show.
Yeah, especially that car up front there, the car Altina. He is fast no matter where he goes. He's been on top, he's been wrecked, had that car upside down, in the wall every which way, and still managed to find himself up front.
Field going to make their way off of turn number 4. Pace truck dives in down to the inside. Green flag will go in the air. We are underway here at the Rock. One lap is very quickly in the books here, and going to be 79 more to go. Actually, we should probably change that so we only show the number of laps here, because it is not a 150-lap race tonight. Only 80 laps will make up the full distance. It's going to be Johnny Avila jumping out to the early lead over Mike McConville. Troy Hayden setting a new fastest lap of the race. Just like that, Tyler Seville goes to the top of the speed charts at a 24.26. Not a real surprise here, James. We're going to see everybody single file out, and it's time to log a bunch of laps.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if we see any more side-by-side racing than the little bit we're already seeing in the back of the pack. And back of the pack in quotation marks.
Tyler Seville down to the inside of Tim Knott. He's going to get the pass completed. Kevin Stone going to try to follow him through into turn number 3. It's fun and exciting and all, but this really is not where these drivers want to be from a tires perspective. This actually kind of has a feel for me of an IROC race. Short field, but deep. Everybody in this show is going to be fairly quick.
I can see that. If only they just had the same looking paint schemes.
May have seen A.J. Digby bounce it off the outside safer barrier. Tim Knott looking up to the outside of Tyler Seville off of turn number 4. Earlier tonight when I was out testing here, this was my first time driving the next-gen car. I hadn't noticed before how and I'm assuming it's part of the independent rear suspension, this car wants to snap right when you get those rear wheels all cranked up.
It does, and it's really hard to save this car because of it. It is incredibly easy to overcorrect when it just gets the littlest, tiniest bit of loose. What I found, because I've done quite a bit of races in the next gen here at Rockingham, what I found is that keeping the wheel kind of neutral when it starts to kick out, not countering and catching the slide, but just kind of getting it back to neutral, almost fully straight. That's what it seems to like to save the car without overcorrecting. It's really finicky. You have to really finesse it, but you can save it. It's just not easy.
Yeah, we just saw a great one out of Mike McConville, already starting to see tires go away on these cars. That was a monster slide from Mike McConville. Let's see. Man, he's really got a handful back there. And this is a fixed setup league, James. So you're really talking about if the car doesn't suit your driving style, there's not much you can do to fix it.
Nope. You can just kind of hope that other people suffer and suffer more when you're in this position.
The one benefit about a fixed setup series, though, is you know what the setup is. You can go out and you can practice. You don't have to dial in on the car, find that extra tenth. You can just hop in the car and go and turn laps and find the speed in yourself and not necessarily the car. And yeah, that was a big slide.
That was a big wiggle. If we've ever seen one, that's the biggest of big wiggles out of Mike McConville. Troy Haight had caught right back up to the back bumper of Johnny Avila. Now he's backed off again. Kevin Stone seems to be sliding up as much as Troy Haight is sliding back a little bit, but already working lap number 13 of this 80-lap feature. Top three getting nose to tail. Johnny Avila, Troy Haight, Kevin Stone holding on here. Kind of surprising here to see Mike McConville sliding back. Car was very quick in practice. Oh, man, what a save.
Another big one.
Good Lord. Forward now.
Yeah, everybody else is starting to do the sliding. Man, this really, there's no way these guys are going to be able to go 80 laps on one set of tires, is there?
Not if they're burning them off like that.
I don't think so, but I thought when I signed up for this, we were going to see a NASCAR race here, not a Formula Drift event, because that's really all I've seen so far is cars just getting sideways, and it is freaking awesome.
Take a look. Let's go on board here with Troy Haight. Follow him along. Listen to the throttle. Man, he's not wide open until that car is dead straight down the backstretch.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you got to do when the track conditions are like this. You got to really baby the car. It's almost like you're driving on a wet racetrack. You really got to get the car dead straight, make sure those tires are hooked up, and then you can plant your foot to the floor. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing a burnout.
The other thing I'm noticing is it doesn't sound like there is some braking going on, but not a ton. It's more of kind of that off the throttle a tick early, maybe a touch of brakes, and just let the car arc real gently on corner entry.
Yeah, I've always favored just kind of a little dab of brake on entry to kind of get the nose to come down a bit and then arc it up and then diamond it off. And that's what seems to be the best way to get this car through Rockingham.
Top three, all nose to tail. Mike McConville back up to the 4th position. And working up onto the back bumper of Kevin Stone. I tell you what, guys, this race is going to be over in an absolute hurry right now. 10 minutes and 26 laps in. If we stay green all the way, this has the potential to be, 40 minutes or less to complete 80 laps around Rockingham?
That is the tires hold on.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So let us know in the comments where you're watching from here this evening. Hopefully you are enjoying the show, and we can get your comments up on the air as well. So as we see them come in, we'll talk to you guys as much as we'll talk to each other. Johnny Avila, still your race leader. Let's run back through the field here, and what the heck? Let's give everybody some close-up time here on the cameras. Good looking number 63 machine there for Johnny Avila.
I was going to say, I don't think you need to get a close-up of Troy Hate's car either. He's hogging that shot too.
Yeah, there's a good look at Troy Haight in the number 28 Thrustmaster entry. Every time I look at these cars, I see something new. Right at the very top, just to the right of the Earnhardt bar in the windshield, a vent opening. I did not notice that prior to. Is that new with the update?
No, they actually had those, maybe new to the update on iRacing, but they've had those since the Clash because there was an issue of the cars getting too hot and drivers getting fatigued from car that was basically an oven inside.
Very, very interesting. And the diffuser not being held up by duct tape as we slide over to pick up Kevin Stone in the RS Customs entry out of Mooresville, North Carolina.
Now that you mentioned seeing new things, if you look in the rear windshield, you can see slits in it to let air out of the car. I assume that's another thing for the ventilation inside these things.
That is interesting. Widen the shot out here. Mike McConville was having a peek down to the inside. Stone sliding up the racetrack just a little bit. Johnny Avila's opened up the gap. Half second now over Troy Haight. 3/4 of a second here back to Kevin Stone. And we can see these guys creeping up towards the Kyle Larson line.
I don't think they have a choice but to get up there, give Kyle Larson a ring, and ask him, how the hell do I do this? Because these tires are falling off. You want to make that racetrack as big as possible and try and wear these tires least.
Plus, when you inevitably blow that right front, it's let's go till you hit the wall.
That is true.
There is something to be said for minimize the distance to impact. We saw that several times at Pocono. Jimmy Johnson, Bubba Wallace, both losing tires going down the front stretch at Pocono, and they made the left. And they were epically huge hits. Casey Kane did the same thing, and he made a right-hand turn and just rode the wall all the way down. Still a huge hit, but less than what Jimmy Johnson and Bubba Wallace took.
I'd rather glance the wall and hit it with the right side of the car than hit the wall with the front side of the car, because right side of the car hurts a hell of a lot less.
Here is Mike McConville again having the peak on Kevin Stone. McConville working about half a car width lower on the racetrack. So now we see Tyler Seville falling all the way back to the 7th position. I would imagine if there is a pit window tonight, it would open at lap 40. If you can make it 40, you can make it the rest of the way on one set of tires. But these guys are going to be hurting for some fresh Goodyears.
I kind of want to see someone pit just to see what happens.
Is this one of those deals that if somebody comes down, almost everybody has to come down at some point? You're just going to lose too much time?
I think so.
Might be the equivalent to an F1 undercut. Just, especially if you're a guy back there like Tyler Seville or Richard Fletcher, you've got nothing to lose by just coming down, throwing fresh tires in the car, and seeing what it'll do.
Johnny Avila going to have to contend with Troy Haight. Man, you can see these cars really starting to slide off of turn number 2. Down Thunder Alley and back towards turn number 3. Patrick says he's checking in from the Butters Memorial Bench in Palmerton, Pennsylvania. I don't think Butters has a bench yet, but...
Yet.
I am sitting in the future spot of it. I got a Wi-Fi hotspot set up. I brought my laptop over, and we're doing the broadcast from Palmerton just for Butters.
Almost like you have enough of a connection there to sit and play a game of Civ 5 or something.
If I were theoretically playing a game of Civ 5, I would have theoretically already won it.
Okay.
You theoretically probably got blown out or blown up, however, whatever happens in the game.
I tell you what, it is something that is, and this is an interesting development we're starting to see. The field is doing almost like the accordion. The gap between Johnny Avila and Troy Haight was just less than a car length. It's now opened up to a half second. It's another almost full second back to Kevin Stone in third. It's almost like you get the tires in a sweet spot temperature-wise, you try to make a pass, overheat them, and then you got to back way out of it again.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, you can take care of the tires enough to where you can at least keep them from overheating. And trying to make any sort of pass is making them overheat. Like right now, those things are frying pans right there. They're watching these 5 cars battle amongst themselves.
Good look at A.J. Digby getting to the inside of Kevin Stone. It's going to open up the battle here between Tim Knott and Tyler Seville. This is the fight for 6th and 7th. And let's give this guy a shout out here. Richard Fletcher is absolutely running his own race. He is 11 seconds back of Tyler Seville for 7th, 14 and a half seconds back of the race leader. However, he is still very much on the lead lap and just not burning tires.
If everyone else has to pit and he stays out, he could be the leader. And that would make for a really interesting finish. See if those guys on fresh tires can chase him down.
Yeah, because at this point, we're already working lap number 47 past the halfway point. You're talking about a scenario where you may not have enough laps to get caught up. If I'm Seville, Tim Knott, maybe even Kevin Stone, it feels like I need to come get tires. Because at this point, best lap of the race currently belongs to Mike McConville at a 24:072. Mike McConville's last lap was a 25:2. You're talking a full second a lap in lap time that you're going to gain, and it's only going to get bigger the longer these guys try to stay out on their tires.
Yeah, if any of these guys have a crew chief on top of the box, they should be running as many numbers they can, finding out exactly when the undercut is really going to be faster than staying out. Because at some point, it's got to be. And if I were to just take a in-the-head math estimate, it would probably be 5 laps ago.
I don't know. Part of me is predicting we might see some stops on lap 60.
Well, considering it'd be very hard to pit 5 laps ago if you stayed on the racetrack now, I would say lap 60 is a good guess.
Patrick's doing them there big maths.
Yeah, because I think 20 laps is long enough to where you can just drive the wheels off of it and still have some tread left to actually race.
See, the problem with driving the wheels off it, though, is those walls really hurt. And if you push it just a little too hard, all that time you've gained by taking those new tires is now buried 6 inches deep in the safer barrier.
Yeah, but you got to have that crazy pace to even get yourself to a point where, oh man, that was close. Get yourself to a point where that can matter. Because you're going to be like 2 laps down, I believe, when you get off a pit road. You're going to have to drive it to make up all that time.
Oh, one car big up into the wall. That was Tyler Seville, I believe. Smacking the car off the outside safer barrier.
I believe the Pro Series drivers call that the wall bounce speed hack.
No grip hacks going on tonight, just speed hacks?
Yes,
Man,
yes.
I must be doing it wrong, because every time I smack the wall, my car just stops going fast.
No, you got to do it a certain way. You got to disconnect your router as soon as you hit it, plug it in real quick so it doesn't kick you out of the session, and you can ride the wall without having the car get slowed down.
Man, I think Mike McConville may have gotten the outside wall off of turn 2 as well, and I believe it was Tim Knott that got the safer barrier before. Looks like the outside of that car may be a little scuffed up. Yeah, it is. Take a look here. Slide up, pick up Mike McConville. Forget the Darlington stripes. We're putting Rockingham stripes on these cars. Yeah, you can see the damage on McConville's car.
I guess Mike was trying the wall hack.
Yeah, he forgot the lag switch part of it. Nim Cross, if you're listening to any of this, this is all a joke.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to try it later tonight.
For those of you who don't know, Nimcross is the chief steward of iRacing.
Yes. Don't ban my account. That is Patrick Byrne that
No,
you're looking
no,
for the
no.
ban hammer on.
It is Mike Barry.
I think we can probably ban Chad Irvine's account. I'm not even sure if he uses it anymore.
Oh, man.
As we see, Mike McConville really hardened the wall that time. I think it's time for new tires and maybe a new right side of the car on that thing.
Yeah, the problem is at this point, if you have required damage repairs, I don't think you can stop. You're going to lose too much time in the required repair that any time you might gain in taking tires, that's going out the window.
Well, you're not really going to get a required repair in this car that doesn't come with a meatball. So if you have a required repair in this car, you're already kind of screwed. So we'll see if Mike just spontaneously disappears, because then we'll know that he did not respect the meatball.
Competition caution with 15 to go. Give everybody fresh tires and let them go absolutely ballistic. I almost don't want to see it, though. I really want to see how this race is going to play out over the next 20 laps. Something tells me, oh, man, McConville absolutely pounds the wall again.
Now, I'm really intrigued by the line McConville, well, yeah, is still running. He kind of diamonds the corner, so he enters low, swings it up to the wall, and, well, except when he hits the wall there. But then tries to exit the corner low to avoid hitting the wall down the straightaways.
Man, that car is a mess right now.
Yeah, the avoid part of that line is kind of in quotation marks at this point.
Yeah.
And at this point, we have to probably be getting fairly close to these tires getting the meatball, I would think. I mean, these cars have not pushed like this all night, and we are well over 25-second laps around this place.
Again, we'll know when Mike McConville spontaneously disappears. Respect the meatball.
Oh, man, Tyler Seville almost up into the back at Kevin Stone.
We nearly got our competition caution right there.
Organically. Seville now going to fall in behind Tim Knott. Seville was trapped down on the inside line of the racetrack. Putting up a good fight here, but
I am going to hop down the pit road and ask some of these drivers how the car is feeling and what they're really experiencing right now.
all right, so Patrick is making the long walk from the Butters Memorial Bench in Palmerton, Pennsylvania to pit road at Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina. He will be there in approximately 4 weeks.
Which, ironically enough, is right when his game of Civ 5 will end.
This three-car battle, the best one on the racetrack, Kevin Stone, Tyler Seville, Tim Knott. AJ Digby is pretty rapidly going to have to deal with Mike McConville. I can't believe McConville's car is still running fairly quick laps.
Talking with Johnny Avila. Johnny Avila says, car feels fine, just can't drive it in too deep. So he is confident in his race car.
Oh,
This
man.
Mike McConville, I don't think he is very confident in that race car right now.
He
Confident
absolutely
on how it
pounded
feels
the
with
wall.
at least.
He's developing a familiarity.
I would go down and ask Mike McConville how he's feeling right now, but I believe he's a little preoccupied at the moment. I'll let him be.
Yeah, he's locked in a spirited battle with AJ Digby. Tyler Seville and Kevin Stone battling side by side. Finishing lap number 69. Next time by the start-finish line, Johnny Avila has led every lap since the drop of the green flag. And again, only 80 laps the distance tonight. Field electing to shorten the race with the car count that we have. So now as we're going to pick up Digby and McConville down the front stretch. Man, I guess no stops here.
Oh.
McConville bounces it off the wall. That's one way. It's almost like a reverse slide job. Smack the wall, cut the wheel hard left.
I believe he finally figured out how to execute that speed hack I was talking about. That car is just too damaged to take advantage of the speed anymore.
Tim Knott and Kevin Stone going to continue their festivities here towards the back of the pack. And it looks like the strategy game for Richard Fletcher may be going out the window, as Johnny Avila very close to putting that car a lap down. So we're going to be down to 8 laps to go next time by the start-finish line. Johnny Avila has been untouched thus far tonight. And it is the race. This race win will likely, actually pretty much will, clinch him the championship, because a 30-point lead entering tonight, he was going pretty much locked in anyway. But with the drop weeks factored in, you sort of have to couch the math a little bit. I don't think there's anybody that will be catching Johnny Avila. He has had an absolutely incredible season. 8 starts, 4 poles, 5 wins, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10 finishes, and almost double the number of bonus points as second place Tyler Seville. I mean, this has been pretty much pure dominance tonight out of and this season out of Johnny Avila.
Yeah, he just dunked on this whole series, didn't he? Like, damn.
He's been impressive. Tyler Seville, pretty darn good himself. 8 starts, 2 poles, 1 win, 5 top 5, 7 top 10s. Nothing more you can ask for, other than the guy ahead of you to not light the world on fires. They get the 5-finger salute from Wiggles and Giggles on the flag stand. The only real battle on the racetrack right now still going on is between Kevin Stone and Tim Knott. This is the fight for the 6th position.
Yeah, Kevin's looking pretty good so far, but Tim not giving up.
Tim's seen about as much of the safer barrier as Mike McConville has here tonight. But it'll be down to 2 laps to go next time by. Figures as soon as we switch away, they're going to go back to being side by side again. Stone and Knott going to continue their hostilities. Stone all the way down on the yellow line at the entry to turn number 3. Knott gets the better run off the top side of the corner, and that will likely be, well, you can't say it'll be it for that battle, because all it's going to take is one of them to make a little mistake. But A.J. Digby, Mike McConville, Troy Haight all getting pretty close together here as well. But off of turn number 4, white flag is in the air. 1 to go for Johnny Avila. A 2 3/4 second lead. Once again, dominant performance tonight out of driver 63. A piece of the rock is heading to the Great White North. Johnny Avila wins at Rockingham. Fantastic run for Johnny Avila. Second place tonight will be Troy Haight.
I don't think Johnny Avila knows the race is over. He still seems to be going full steam ahead.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any updates that say that we are not shortening things, but
Here we go. He's slowing it down now.
he's slowing it down now. Troy Haight making his way down pit lane. Johnny Avila is your winner. AJ Digby. Troy Haight going to be second, third, and fourth. Unfortunately, we won't be able to give you the rundown here. And with everybody heading down pit road, it's going to make life a little bit difficult there as well. Let's see. We know we're going to be talking to Johnny Avila here in just a second.
I will give you your top three here. Just give me 1 second. Your top three is Johnny Avila, Troy Haight, and AJ Digby, followed by Mike McConville for the 4th position, Tyler Seville in 5th, Tim Knott finishing 6th position with Kevin Stone in 7th, and Richard Fletcher and Jordan Barry finishing 8th and 9th. I believe Jordan Barry didn't start the race. He was one of the admins, if I remember properly.
That is correct. And got the good look here at Johnny Avila's race car. Let's start. Let's see. We'll go back to here and pick up AJ Digby. Let's bring him up into the booth here tonight. To tell you what, AJ, that looked like an absolute adventure for you guys out there. How in the world did you make a set of tires last 80 green flag laps at Rockingham?
Did a little bit of long run practice in the warm up area because I felt like this would be a one stop race, so about 75, and then with the slightly shortened race at 80, just worked out to be a little bit longer than that. So I knew what I had to do to protect my tire, and that was my main goal early on in that race, and that's why I was kind of hanging out towards the back. And then I felt like I was the fastest car on track there for a while, and then just got a little too held up and had to burn up a little too much tire to get by Mike. But once I did that, then I was able to try to let him cool off a little bit again before trying to move up on Troy, but just not enough tire left at that point. But all in all, it was just tire management and just being smart about your corner entry, your mid drive and drive off, and just knowing that you had to save the right front. And as I said before, I think that's been my strength on this car, is saving that right front. And so these type of tracks has really worked out for me, and it showed. I think if we had a little bit longer of a stint or a full race with 2 long stints, I would have had a little bit of a better shot, but had no short run speed at all. So just focused on the long run, saving tires, and it worked out in my favor in the end.
We noticed during the broadcast here tonight a couple of changes to these cars. The vent opening at the front, some of the slats cut into the rear window. Obviously, that's a cooling thing that wouldn't apply to us in the sim world, but did you notice any big changes with the update that dropped today and some of the changes we saw to these next-gen cars?
I really didn't notice much. It felt like the only thing I could kind of say, and I don't know if this has anything to do with the changes, but it felt like to me that the clean air played a more important role at Rockingham than I feel like it should have, being a small track, or maybe than it used to, I guess is probably the better way to think of it. But typically with this being kind of a little mini short track, air doesn't play that much because you're not getting that much speed, but it did play a decent little factor, and so I think that's probably more realistic in the end. But it kind of worked out for me because in practice was able to run every single line, and so I made myself comfortable running every single line. And so when I needed to run high, I was able to run high and get some clean air. When I needed to run low, I could run low. And same with when I wanted to take air away from the car behind me. That's kind of, I was able to hold off Mike there at the end because he was really fast up top. So anytime he started to get up a little bit closer, it's not even really blocking. I was just able to block the air out from in front of him, and it caused him to even hit the wall a couple times, I think. So I was just able to manipulate the air, and like I said, I don't know if that's an update or an adjustment or if that's just how it is now with this new car at Rockingham, but that was a little bit different to me, but it worked out all in the end.
Well, congratulations once again on a podium finish here tonight. Let's make sure we get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Yeah, custom paints and diecast first and foremost. Jordan Berry for the wonderful rocket ship car that really took a little bit of time to get its inertia going in outer space here around Rockingham, but was able to use that gravitational pull around the rock to gather some speed over the course of this race. Got to thank Sam for running the league, and hopefully we can get numbers up. I know that they're doing a lot of hard work behind the scenes to make that happen. Thanks to everybody in the race for a good, clean, hard race over the course of the race, and then you guys for the broadcast as always. So just really thankful to be able to race here, and it's small car count, but still was a very quality race on our part, and I felt like all 8 cars were pretty close throughout the majority of that run.
All right, AJ, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in here with us. And let's bring in our runner-up tonight, Mr. Troy Hayden. I tell you what, Troy, at one point tonight I made the comment that this sort of felt like an IROC race. Yes, the car count was lower, but the quality of the field was very good. You were kind of up, down, back and forth. It seemed like everybody was dancing around from where they started the race tonight.
Yeah, it was trying to manage the tires. I think I was driving a little too hard sometimes.
One of those deals that when you're trying to play the tire management game, mentally, how do you get yourself in a position to say, I have to back off here, or there's no way these things are going to last?
Yeah, with the shortened race, I wasn't sure if we had to pit or not, but then when I checked the laps that we could go, then we could make it. So then I just had to kind of change my plan of how I was driving.
Well, congratulations tonight on a very nice second-place run. Congratulations on that one, and let's make sure we get any sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Yeah, I want to thank my dad for watching and his support. You guys in the broadcast booth, and Sam Maxwell and the 2 Jordans for admins for the league.
All right, bud. Thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And it is time to talk to our race winner tonight, a guy who absolutely put on a clinic here at the Rockingham Speedway. Johnny Avila, congratulations. We talked to you after winning the pole position. Man, that was the car looked good. Patrick said he talked to you at one point during the race. No worries on tires. Easy 80 laps around here, right?
Pretty much. I think the biggest thing that I noticed when compared to everybody else is I was backing off way earlier than everybody. So I think that's what helped save my tires. Because talking to my teammates and stuff, their right fronts were gone.
This was definitely a tire management race. Was the thought at any point during the race to take tires and just try to rip your way back through the field, or were you only going to stop if somebody else did?
So I was kind of just looking at the tire fall off, and based on our race pace around like lap 25, lap 30, we haven't even slowed down like a second. So to try and pit like halfway and then make up that 45 seconds of difference, I don't think it was worth it. So I was just going to just keep on trucking. Hopefully I made it.
Well, it looks like you have pretty much locked in a Sim Racers Club Premier Series championship. Obviously, there are the drop weeks and all that stuff to count yet, but entering the night with a 30-point gap, picking up a big win tonight, and Tyler coming home in 5th, it kind of sets you up for a little bit of a victory lap next weekend down there at Nashville.
Yeah, I get to go to the last race of the season just kind of with no pressure. I got to, first of all, thank all my teammates, Richard, Tyler, AJ, Will, like they all helped me out throughout this whole season. So they were definitely a great help. Couldn't have done it without them.
Well, congratulations once again on a just epic run here tonight. Leading every lap and taking the victory here at Rockingham Speedway. Make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Got to thank Bulldog Roofworks, been on my hood, supporting me throughout this whole season. Also got to thank everybody that shows up for this league and tries to help this league out. Like the amount of work through different parts of this season that both Jordans and Sam had to do just to keep this league running. It's been great to at least see that they have the dedication to keep this up. And I got to thank you guys up in the booth. Every week, you guys bring in an amazing broadcast for me to watch back with friends and family.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the kind words here, and let's get one more in here because he asked for it in the comments. Mike McConville, you absolutely destroyed that race car tonight.
Just a little bit.
How did you not have a meatball? And two, how are you still quick?
That high side, it was ripping. Once I hit the wall the first time, I got super tight behind guys, so I had to find somewhere else to run. And if I hit that high line correctly, it absolutely flew. So I was really surprised I was able to keep up, and I was really hoping to get a podium there at the end.
See, I noticed you were diamonding the corners a little bit, kind of entering a little low, swinging it way up high to the safe barrier in the mid corner, then coming back down low. Was that how you had to drive the car, or were you just doing that to try and avoid hitting the wall on exit?
I was doing that to try to avoid the wall. If I entered correctly, where I was maybe a car length off the wall on entry and kept it in that top dark part next to the fence, it just flew around, but you had to pedal it slightly off the corner or it was just going to meet the fence, which I said hello a few times.
I was going to say, we watched you say hello a couple times, maybe more than a couple.
Yes.
Hey, at least I hope I put on a good show with this car that looks like it belongs at Martinsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a show, that's for sure. Man, I tell you what, on corner entry, the car looks great. We got a nice clean shot of the right-hand side, and by corner exit, you're going, oh, my Lord.
You know, I don't think that looks like a Martinsville car. That looks more like a Darlington car to me.
Did it have some of that feel tonight of kind of how you have to run Darlington?
It really did. You could find a lot of speed on entry by driving straight in there and letting the car slide up in the corner and then just matting the throttle coming off. Because if you ran it traditionally, high in, low middle, high, and then fade out to the wall, you had to pedal it so hard down the straightaways to keep it from getting super loose, and you just lost all your momentum.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, congratulations on a top 5 finish here tonight. Thank you for putting on a hell of a show and making things exciting, and let's make sure we give you a shot to get the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
First off, I want to thank you guys for always putting on a good show. Kind of bummed that the field was small, but I know I saw all the guys behind the scenes are trying to put something together for next season. So we got one more race at I think it's Nashville Super Speedway.
Yep.
I hope to put on another great show for you guys.
We are looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate it. And I tell you what here, boys, it is about time to get out of here. We've got a ton of work to do. 3 shows coming up tomorrow night, or at least soon anyway. The Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series will be back in a week or so. Cannot wait to see those guys back here on the National Racing Network airwaves. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be the High Side Hustle with Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright. Talk to Giovanni Selzi, the winner of the World of Outlaws at Placerville, or not Placerville, Tulare, the Thunder Bowl last weekend. Absolutely epic conversation those guys had with Gio last night. We'll be following that up with the 5 laps of the Nordschleife for the PM18s, kicking off the Indy Pro 2000 Championship for iRacing Official Series 2022 Season 2. We'll be back on Monday night with the Fuel Premier Series heading off to Kentucky Speedway. Tuesday night will be the TNT Shock Series, I think. We'll have to check their schedule. And then we're right back here Wednesday night to round out the season at Nashville Super Speedway, the official crowning of Johnny Avila as your series champion. But until then, it is time for us to get on out of here. For Patrick Byrne and James Watson, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight, everybody. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night.